Okay, everybody, picture this. American's golden cowboy, the man who gave us friends in low places, the best-selling solo artist of all time, and the very definition of wholesome 90s country, is secretly a cold-blooded serial killer. Yep, folks, welcome to the internet. This bizarre conspiracy theory has been floating around certain corners of social media for years now, and then lovingly adopted by Reddit threads, meme pages, and anyone who finds it hilarious to imagine that Garth Brooks is burying bodies in his back pasture between stadium shows. Of course, this is all nonsense. Garth Brooks has never been charged with, investigated for, or even vaguely linked to any violent crime. The man's biggest scandal is probably that weird Chris Gaines alter ego phase. But, and here's the fun part, the joke has taken on a life of its own, like an internet urban legend. People genuinely pick apart his interviews, his lyrics, even his oddly intense stare when he talks to his fans. So tonight, we're diving headfirst into the Yeehaw crime files. We'll look at how this ridiculous rumour started, why people keep feeding it, and the cases that the internet's wannabe detectives jokingly pin on poor Garth. Grab your cowboy hats, hide your shovels, and maybe don't accept a ride from a guy blasting the dance at 3 AM. Welcome to Echoes of the Unknown, where we dive deep into the unsolved, the unexplained, and the downright unbelievable. My name is James, and today we're looking at the case of Garth Brooks, America's favourite cowboy, who may or may not be a cold-blooded murderer. Like, subscribe, share, and all that good stuff if you like what we do here. Without further ado, let's crack on with the Garth Brooks serial killer rumour. Before we get too deep into the murder memes, let's remember who we're actually talking about here. Garth Brooks. Born in 1962 in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Troil, Garth Brooks, grew up in a music-loving family. He played guitar, sang at family talent nights, and by the late 1980s, he was knocking on Nashville's door with a cowboy hat and a dream. And man, did that dream cash in. By the mid-1990s, Garth wasn't just successful, he was an absolute phenomenon. He brought country music into arenas, mixing honky-tonk with rock concert energy. We're talking fireworks, headset microphones, stage dives. He made George Strait look like your grandpa's fishing buddy. His albums didn't just sell well, they absolutely obliterated the charts. To this date, Brooks has sold more than 170 million records worldwide, making him the best-selling solo artist in US history. Yep, even more than Elvis. Sorry Elvis fans, just don't shoot the messenger, okay? Despite the mega fame, Garth has always carried this super wholesome or shucks vibe. He cries during interviews, thanks his mama, and writes songs about love, friendship, and dancing through life. He's basically the Mr. Rogers of country music, which ironically makes him the perfect target for a ridiculous internet conspiracy. Because the bigger and shinier the image, funnier it is to imagine the darkness behind it. And let's not forget the Chris Gaines saga. In 1999, Garth decided to release an alter ego album as a fictional Australian rock star with an emu haircut. Critics absolutely loathed it, fans were confused, and honestly, it looked like an early warning sign of a man about to crack. Conspiracy theorist? Chris Gaines isn't just a failed side project, he's Exhibit A. Look, they say, that is the face of a killer hiding in plain sight. So yeah, on paper, Garth Brooks is the clean-cut country icon who reshaped the music industry. Online, he's half cowboy superstar, half Dexter with a southern drawl. And that's where the fun begins. So how exactly did we go from friends in low places to bodies in shallow graves? Like most modern nonsense, it started on the internet, specifically in those weird corners of Twitter and Reddit where memes are born, conspiracy theories thrive, and reality goes to die. The main culprit here is comedian Tom Segura. During a stand-up special and later on his podcast, Segura started joking about Garth Brooks being responsible for a suspicious number of missing people. It was one of those throwaway gags that snowballs because the internet has the attention span of a caffeinated squirrel. Pretty soon, anytime Garth Brooks posted on social media, people flooded the comments with stuff like, "Where are the bodies, Garth?" and "Admit it, cowboy." And here's the thing, Garth's social media team clearly didn't know how to handle it. Instead of laughing along or clapping back, they just ignored it, which on the internet is basically the same as pleading the fifth. Every silence became proof. Every awkward promo video he posted suddenly looked sinister. That big cheesy smile? And that's not just joy. That's the grin of a man who just buried someone behind a Cracker Barrel. Then you've got the Chris Gaines factor, which conspiracy fans treat like a smoking gun. In their minds, Garth creating a moody alter ego with jet black hair and eyeliner was less about artistic exploration and more about confessing through performance. They'll point to Gaines' lyrics and his brooding backstory and go, see, he's telling us who he really is, like some kind of Nashville Zodiac killer, leaving Easter eggs in CD liner notes. And let's not forget, country stars have a habit of living double lives in the public eye. Usually it's something tame, like secretly loving jazz or having a side business in barbecue sauce. But in the land of memes, double life means country superstar by day, serial strangler by night. So really, the spark wasn't evidence or police reports or even a single shady moment in Brooks's actual life. It was just a comedian's joke, a fandom that loves to troll, and an algorithm that rewards anything weird enough to make you click. It's the perfect recipe for conspiracy chaos. Okay, so here's where things get especially ridiculous. Normally when you say investigation, you're talking about police, FBI, or maybe some grizzled private eye chain smoking in a trench coat. But in this case, the actual investigators are Reddit users with too much free time and people on TikTok. Once Tom Segura's joke caught fire, the internet went full True Detective mode, except with way less nicotine and way more emojis. People started combing through Garth Brooks' concert footage, music videos and interviews, looking for clues. And let me tell you, the bar for what counts as evidence on the internet is embarrassingly low. For example, fans pointed out that Brooks' official tour promo videos sometimes showed highways, empty fields or industrial areas. Totally normal background B-roll, right? Not for conspiracy TikTok. Oh no, that was symbolism. Of course it was. People were dead serious, writing captions like, "Notice how he stands near an abandoned warehouse." Just saying. Then there's his awkward stage banter. Garth has always been a little bit corny when talking to the crowd, lots of "I love you all" and "ain't this great," but to conspiracy theorists, it comes off as nervous energy, like he's about to slip and confess. He's not thanking the crowd, they say, he's thanking the jury. Even his actual tour schedule became part of the investigation. Any city with an unsolved missing persons case within a 100-mile radius, boom, that's linked. Some YouTubers literally put pins on a map connecting Garth's tour dates with crime statistics, like they'd just cracked open a Zodiac cipher. Never mind that the country stars play every single city with a stadium, the overlap is inevitable. Let's not forget Chris Gaines again. Oh boy, amateur detectives basically treat Gaines like an FBI case file. They'll zoom in on music videos frame by frame, looking for hidden messages in his eyeliner or colour of his jacket. One theory even suggests Gaines' tragic backstory was autobiographical, Garth's secret confession wrapped in a fake persona. Because obviously a multi-millionaire country star would choose VH1 behind the music as his method of coming clean. There's also body language experts on YouTube breaking down interviews. You know the type, the people who watch 20 minutes of someone scratching their nose and then declare, "This indicates deception, possible guilt, and definitely at least 3 buried bodies." Funniest part? Garth himself never addressed any of this. Total silence, which only fueled the fire. Because if you're saying nothing online, you're guilty, and if you deny it, well, that's what a guilty person would do too. So the so-called investigation is basically a digital scavenger hunt for vibes. No police files, no missing DNA evidence, no witness statements, just memes, jokes, and thousands of people asking the same question in his Instagram comments. Where are the bodies, Garth? So if you thought the investigation part was out there, then buckle up, because this is where the internet sleuths go full galaxy brain. It's not enough to suggest that Garth Brooks might be a serial killer, oh no. To make it stick, you've got to connect him to actual cases. And did the internet deliver on this? Let's start with the most common theory, the tour stop murders. Fans noted that Garth's tour dates occasionally lined up with unsolved disappearances in those cities. For instance, he placed St. Louis in July. So someone went missing in St. Louis at some point in the last 20 years. Coincidence? According to TikTok, absolutely not. That's pattern recognition. According to rational humans, that's just what happens when you've toured for 3 decades and played literally every single city in North America at least twice. Some internet detectives even created spreadsheets, actual Excel files mapping out Garth's concert schedule against unsolved homicide data. They post graphics with arrows, circles, red string lines, the whole corkboard treatment. Problem is, when you have hundreds of shows and thousands of unsolved cases, overlaps are inevitable. Like someone went missing in Dallas the same weekend he played there. Who could have guessed that a major US city might have had a crime? But the theories don't stop there. A few sleuths claim that certain lyrics are confessions. Yes, lyrics. In the song The Thunder Rolls, clearly about covering up a murder. Friends in Low Places, that's obviously his network of accomplices. And don't even get them started on Papa Loved Mama, which literally is a murder ballad but written years before TikTok was even a twinkle in Gen Z's eye. Then there's Chris Gaines again. Some theorists believe Chris Gaines wasn't just an alter ego, he was Garth's killing persona. They argue that Gaines' moody songs and tragic backstory align with real-life crimes. One YouTuber seriously suggested that Gaines' fictional car crash was inspired by an unsolved accident in Oklahoma, claiming it was a wink at his true activities. Because apparently, Garth is out here dropping murder Easter eggs like he's the country music version of the Zodiac. And of course, the internet couldn't resist trying to tie into actual famous cases. I've actually seen threads claiming Brooks was somehow connected to missing women from the 90s, or that he fit the profile of an unidentified killer. One TikTok even tried to imply he was in the Midwest during the time of the West Mesa bone collector case in New Mexico. Never mind the fact that tour records show he was literally performing in another state. Details. One particular wild theory involves Garth's ranch. Conspiracy fans claim his sprawling Oklahoma property is the perfect place to bury bodies. Wide open fields, barns, lakes, heavy equipment, they paint it like a serial killer's dream setup. Do they have any proof? No, just a lot of Google Earth screenshots with blurry barns circled in red. Another internet rabbit hole links Brooks to waterways, because in true serial killer fashion, fans claim he has an obsession with rivers, pointing to songs like River and The River. The theory goes that many unsolved bodies found near rivers could be his doing. Because apparently no songwriter has ever written about water before. Bob Dylan, Johnny Cash, Bruce Springsteen? No, clearly Garth invented rivers. Perhaps the funniest accusation I've come across, people think that his concerts are too wholesome. Stay with me here. They argue that his almost aggressively clean-cut image is just a mask, like Ted Bundy with a cowboy hat. That theory is that nobody could be that nice, that upbeat, that friendly to every fan for decades, unless he was overcompensating for something darker. Which is basically the internet's way of saying, if you're too nice, we just don't trust you. So, when you boil it down, the cases Garth supposedly murdered people in are all of them. Any unsolved case in a city he's ever played in, which, again, is literally every city in America. By this logic, the man hasn't just sold out stadiums, he's secretly responsible for half of the FBI's cold case backlog. Forget Jack the Ripper, forget the Zodiac. According to the internet, Garth Brooks is basically the Walmart of serial killers. Everywhere, all the time, one-stop shop. Of course, there's no evidence whatsoever, at all. Just memes, spreadsheets and TikToks. But if you squint hard enough, tilt your head sideways and ignore reality, you too can believe that one of the best-selling music artists in history is secretly the deadliest man in America. Right, so you've gone out, got your spreadsheets, your corkboards, the red string. Now comes the fun part, making it all sound plausible. And do the internet sleuths get creative when it comes to theories about Garth Brooks? Oh yes, they do. The first, and honestly the most obvious theory, is the too nice theory. This one says Garth's squeaky clean, all shucks country boy image is just way too perfect. The dude sells out stadiums, he has a megawit smile, thanks God and his mama in every interview, and apparently that's suspicious. The internet logic goes that nobody could be that wholesome for that long unless they're hiding something darker. Think of it as the Ted Bundy effect, that he was charming, he was friendly, he was everyone's favourite neighbour. Except instead of a neighbour, he's the guy in a cowboy hat singing about rivers. According to this theory, every time Garth flashed a smile, that was just the mask slipping into place. Then there's our old chum Chris Gaines again. You knew this one was coming. Some folks are convinced that Chris Gaines wasn't just an embarrassing pop star experiment, but Garth's way of exploring his darker side. They argue Gaines was the killer within, a persona he couldn't show as Garth. YouTube detectives will break down Gaines' moody lyrics, claiming they're coded confessions. Because nothing screams serial killer evidence like a failed late 90s side project with frosted tips. Another theory is the tour trail. This one's less about psychology and more about logistics. The idea is that Garth's extensive touring schedule gave him the perfect cover. Always on the road, always in a new city, endless opportunities. A missing person in Chicago here, an unsolved homicide in Phoenix there. Tour bus makes a perfect mobile alibi. Never mind that he's usually surrounded by an entire entourage, crew, and thousands of screaming fans, but details of course are for quitters. But could it all be true? Well, let's have a look at the numbers. Brooks' world tour of 1993-94 visited more than 100 North American and European cities. So if you look closer, in each city, unsolved cases actually ballooned the week before or after his shows. In Indianapolis in 1993, there was a young woman walking home from a bar just blocks from Market Square Arena, who then disappeared. In Chicago in 1993, 3 women disappear in unrelated cases in the same week that Brooks sold out consecutive nights at the Rosemont Horizon. And in Cincinnati 1993, there's a cold case murder of a college child. Body discovered in the Ohio River within 48 hours of his tour bus rolling out of the city. Now some sleuths like to go a little deeper into his lyrics. Songs like Papa Loved Mama, where the dad literally killed the mum with a truck, get cited as confessional in plain sight. Thunder Rolls, well that's Garth telling us about stormy nights and murderous rage. The River, obviously about his dumping grounds where he dumps his bodies. And of course, Friends in Low Places is just code for his network of accomplices. According to this theory, his entire discography is one long breadcrumb trail. Never mind that country music has been writing about murder, cheating and rivers since, well, forever. One of the more bizarre angles is the body ranch theory. Conspiracy fans have pointed at Garth's Oklahoma ranch, calling it the perfect place to hide evidence. Big fields, remote barns, lots of land, machinery. Internet sleuths call it a serial killer's playground. Google Earth images of barns and sheds are passed around as proof. Some even suggest there are ponds on the property that are definitely body ponds, which if you ask me, it sounds like someone who's never actually been to a farm in their life. But what about actual legal trouble? Well, here's the kicker. There isn't any. Garth Brooks is squeaky clean when it comes to the law. No shady arrests, no sketchy bar fights, no trail of DUIs. He's as boringly law-abiding as they come. At least he was, until 2024, when his former hairstylist and makeup artist made claims against him, accusing the country star of being a very naughty boy indeed on multiple occasions. I won't go into this in too much detail here, but it does add a compelling little wrinkle. Some theorists also love to compare him to other famous charming killers like Bundy, BTK, and even John Wayne Gacy. They get thrown around as comparisons. The idea that killers often blend into society and appear normal. So why not Garth? He's got the perfect camouflage, fame, money, and a loyal fanbase who'd never suspect a thing. If BTK could be a church guy, then surely Garth could be a cowboy-hatted monster. That's how the argument goes anyway. Finally, there's the misdirection theory, where Garth's entire career is seen as a cover-up. Like he didn't just want to be famous for music, he wanted the ultimate alibi. Millions of fans, TV appearances, award ceremonies, a big neon sign that screams, "Too famous to be a killer." Which in the internet conspiracy mind is exactly why he must be one. So yeah, the theories range from he's too nice to he left Easter eggs in his songs to his ranch is a crime scene. None of them are actually backed up by any evidence, but on TikTok, who needs evidence when you've got ominous background music and a slideshow of Google Maps screenshots? So let's break it down. Is Garth Brooks secretly a cowboy-hatted Ted Bundy? A short answer? No. Long answer? Absolutely not. But thank you, Internet, for giving us the most bizarre conspiracy crossover of country music and true crime. Here's the reality. Garth is guilty of many things: emotional lyrics, dad energy, questionable hair decisions in the 90s, and yes, that Chris Gaines fiasco, but murder? Not so much. There's zero evidence, zero charges, zero shady run-ins with the law. The only bodies this man has buried are on his Billboard charts. The entire Garth is a serial killer thing that started as a meme, ballooned thanks to TikTok sleuths, and is now basically a running joke. Even Tom Segura, the comedian who helped popularize the idea, leans into it for laughs. It's less true crime and more true comedy. The reason it sticks is still kind of fascinating. People love taking the cleanest, most family-friendly celebrities and imagining the darkest possible secret lives. It's the same reason that Paul McCartney is dead is still floating around, or why Mr. Rogers gets accused of being a Navy SEAL sniper every 5 years or so. The contrast is just too funny for the internet to resist. In Garth's case, the absurdity is the whole point. The man sings about rivers and rodeos, and someone decided, yep, definitely hiding bodies. From there, the internet did what it does best: spin a joke into a full-blown conspiracy, with fake evidence, creepy edits, and way too much time spent on Google Earth. So, at the end of the day, no, Garth Brooks is not a serial killer, but he is a reminder that in the age of memes, no celebrity is safe from being turned into a conspiracy. Poor guy just wanted to sell out stadiums. Now he's the internet's favourite outlaw, but not for the reasons he hoped. Thank you for watching this more light-hearted episode of Echoes of the Unknown. I like to try and break it up a little bit. Some of the cases I look into get a little bit heavy, so thank you, Garth. He's a bit of an oddball, in my opinion. Check out his Facebook introduction message video if you can. But I doubt he's going to be challenging Jeffrey Dahmer and his ilk in the pantheon of serial killers anytime soon. If you like this and want to see more, do the liking, subscribing, shenanigans, and share with your friends. I'll be back soon. So until next time, stay safe and keep listening for the echoes.